Will King Thor be able to escape the dream dimension and save his friends from a mad Donald Blake? Well, let's hop into the pages of Thor issue number 11 and find out together, shall we? So then, when we last left off, the insane and deadly Donald Blake was on a revenge quest for every person who's ever been Thor. We had seen him corner Jane Foster, and it was pretty safe to assume he was going to try and kill her too next. Here's the rub though, he doesn't do that at all. Instead, he takes Jane to lunch so they can catch up like the two old friends they are. Jane's not stupid though, she knows that if Donald Blake is back right now, that means things probably are pretty bad for Thor. Maybe that crown is getting a little too heavy for him and maybe he needed a break. It's also here too we discover that even though Thor and Blake shared a lot of the same memories, they didn't share all the memories. In fact, there's big huge swaths of information missing from Blake's mind. Including, and this is positively the best part right here, the time Jane spent as Thor. Yeah, he has no idea about that whole era, so he really did actually invite her out to lunch as a friend. And not as some kind of sick and twisted last meal. Of course, it's only a matter of time throughout the course of this conversation that Jane eventually does let it slip that she held Mjolnir for a little bit, and poor Donald just can't handle it. He wants revenge on Thor, he wants revenge on Odin and anyone who's ever helped them or assumed the mantle, but he loves Jane. In fact, he keeps saying that Jane loved him back once upon a time, not Thor, but him. And as such, Donald actually chooses to leave her safe and sound that day to continue working down more names on his hit list, but that's no promise that he won't return to her sometime. Now what of King Thor? Well, he's still trapped in the dream dimension right now and quickly running out of ideas. He calls out to any deity that may be listening to him, and indeed, in the Marvel Universe, deities love to listen, but here Thor gets himself a real weird one. He gets Ratasker, a creature from Norse mythology who is known for delivering messages. The Marvel version, though, is really more of an agent of chaos. Ooh, and it's a lady, too. In fact, in a lovely piece of continuity from Donny Cates, Thor is sure to bring up, hey, weren't you fighting Squirrel Girl during the War of Realms? Didn't you decide to stay behind in Midgard? What are you doing here now? Well, wouldn't you just know it, being a god of chaos, Ratasker could not pass up the opportunity to gloat in Thor's face. The new king of Asgard is forced to beg Ratasker to deliver a message to his friends back up in Asgard. The only problem is Thor's friends aren't there anymore. You see, after Donald Blake beat the royal crap out of all of them, he ended up banishing them to some place called the Blood Dimension, which despite its horrifying name is actually a lot more hospitable than you might believe. Turns out the funny little goat people who lived here are actually people that Thor had saved in the past, and as such, they're pretty accommodating to his friends, even patching up poor Beta Ray Bill, who has been having an absolutely terrible time of it. First he got beaten up by Thor, now he's gotten beaten up by Donald Blake. But worse than anything is how badly Bill ends up beating up himself. He thinks that there's so much more he could do to save Asgard, and indeed save Sif too. It seems that he may actually have some romantic eyes on her, huh? Bill is, however, quick with an idea on how to get everyone back on course, but for that they're going to need their good old buddy Lockjaw of the Inhumans to teleport them back home. Because dagnabbit, Donny Cates was the one who killed the bulk of the Inhumans, and he's going to be the one to do the impossible and bring them back better than ever before. Jane returns to the morgue later that day only to come face to face with Donald Blake's handiwork. It seems that the cops had managed to recover the body of Red Norville. Yet another guy who had been Thor and who continuity has mostly forgotten. This guy's been torn apart and burned. And no, it is absolutely not lost on Jane at all how close she was to very possibly suffering the same fate as this guy. But where has Blake run off to? To cross off another Thor from his list, of course, but this one may actually be the most difficult task he's had to date, as Frog Thor and Lockjaw are giving him a real run for his money. And that was Thor issue number 11, everybody, and once again I gotta tip my hat to Donny Cates on this one for having enough faith in the Thor supporting cast to really have this be more a story about them than it is about King Thor. Donald Blake continues to be a truly fascinating villain in this brand new Thor book, and this issue ends up adding a lot more depth and complexity to his character. If he could spare Jane, maybe there is possibly some good left inside him that could be rescued by King Thor, or maybe he's too crazy and too far gone, who's to say for sure. Overall, I'd give this one a very positive 8 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cave Jewel, and if you're seeing me right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, which I am very appreciative of. It really helps drive engagement and retention and all that other good YouTube stuff. So does liking and commenting. Wink wink. If you like my content too, you should check out my Patreon page. We just redid all the tiers, so there's a ton of great rewards. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, and well, it would just really help me out. It's never expected, but always appreciated. So until next time, everyone, I've been Cape Joel, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.